of course, they will then see it. Now I want to ask you a few questions like that everyone might have on their mind.
Sure.
This is the very, very fun part of the show. First thing, what's the weirdest question you will ever ask as a doctor?
I can't say as a doctor. There's I get all kind of questions because face to face people might not ask you questions, but
Yeah.
in chat, some of them I won't be able to say it in front of the camera. But the weirdest ones is when people want to know whose child they're having. So this girl will be like, and I'm not joking, not like one instant, like maybe
Yeah.
like 5, 6, 7. I've had sex with this guy, and after 3 days, I had sex with my boyfriend, and I'm pregnant. Whose child I'm carrying? And I'm like, dude,
You can't.
you can ask God. And they're like, one of them was upset, like, if you don't want to help me, it's fine. I'm like, I'm helping you. No, you cannot tell. You must just
Wait.
ask God.
Wow.
Wait. So that's question that, I mean, I try to answer. But then what really breaks my heart is that, and I'm not sure if I've mentioned it yet, but my whole social media is sexual health.
Yeah.
And when I get questioned that I kissed my boyfriend, am I pregnant? Or I was fooling around, fully clothed on with my boyfriend and my period is late, am I pregnant?
Wow.
So when you see those questions, you realize that sex education is like not existent, like non-existent for some countries. And that's probably what makes me
Want to do it even
want
more.
to do it even more. And the way I do it is that I make it super simple to understand. Because in social media, once you use a big word, the whole video is skipped.
Yeah, no,
Because
no.
nobody has the brain energy to like understand, digest. And that's probably the secret of my
Content.
content is
Yeah.
that very simple, very straightforward, and more like relatable things.
Yeah, that's very important. You mentioned to me a question when walking down the road, though, like people asking how to get their willy longer.
Penis longer.
Yeah.
That's I think
I'm sure there's some gents here that want to know like how to get their penis longer, of course. Not me, but like just some gents maybe in the comments trying to like...
not me. Okay.
Definitely not me. Just like
Okay.
trying to find out, like, could you shed some light on that?
Yes. I get questions about penis very often from guys.
Yeah.
And I tell them what you have is normal. Normal, I think, is like 13 centimeters average.
13,
So, like-
13 centimeters the average penis size in the world.
Yeah, it's not the penis. 13.
No.
You see 13 now?
I just made my hands like this.
13 is average. I think it's like 5 inches, 5.5. So a little bit below, a little bit more, still average.
Yeah.
And I tell people, instead of spending all this energy reading about how to make it longer, which there's no way to make it longer, buying creams, whatever, spend some of that time learning how to
Use it.
use it.
Yes.
Yes, that's the word I was
Yeah.
trying to look for it. How
Yeah.
to use it. I did a podcast with the sex prof.
Yeah.
She brought it up. There are educational porn that people are doing it, and then they stop and they explain how to do it. Watch those things. There are
Oh, doctor,
there
I
are
need to watch porn.
educational
It's crazy.
videos. There are educational videos on YouTube on
Yeah.
how to use your fingers, how to do oral, how to do this. There's techniques, edging to make you last longer. So there are things that you can do to improve than you, because whatever these guys in porn, obviously they are select people and nobody has 25 centimeter. Well, I mean, not everybody has 25 centimeter.
But what influences that? Is it just genes that influences 25 centimeters? Like,
Yeah,
is
I
there
would
anything you
assume
can
so.
eat as you're growing up to?
I'm sure genes, race. I don't think there's anything you can do to make it bigger. There is surgery that you can do, but it doesn't come. It comes with risks.
Yeah.
Which again, I don't think it's worth it for like 2 centimeters to go through surgery. But other than that, most people are just insecure because they think bigger means better.
Yeah. Do you think that race has an influence in it,
I think so.
in
Yeah.
having a bigger penis? Yes.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the BBC? Have you heard of the BBC?
Skip.
Crazy. Moving along. What's the weirdest experience you've had with a patient? Have you ever had a patient, like a female, trying to like rizz you up? Do you know what a rizz is?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I've had, yeah.
Yeah, girls try to eat you up all the time.
Yeah, of course. I will never forget this experience. There was this patient, was a rehab patient that they came for checkups.
Yeah.
Like a group of them. And this girl said something in Afrikaans. And I was like, I don't speak Afrikaans. She's like, doctor, I can't breathe. I need mouth to mouth. And I was like, stay where you are. You're breathing very fine. don't move. And then she tried to get my number. I was like, no, this.
You know, you keep it very professional.
I mean, you cannot. You have to be professional. Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
of course. So you never ever actually like engaged in none of that.
No.
Okay, interesting. This is a very dumb question, but can you learn a lot about medical field from Grey's Anatomy?
So my wife doesn't like to watch any medical series movies with me
Yeah.
because every 3 seconds it's fake.
It's
Doesn't work like this.
Yeah.
No, you know when this happened that you do it that way. So it's all. I mean, you can learn some things, but it kind of like so. So when there's a straight line,
yeah.
what do you do? Like let's say you're a doctor and there's like a straight line on the monitors.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Do you resuscitate him?
You see exactly the shocking.
Yeah.
It's wrong. Nobody shocks a straight line.
Yeah.
But that's the movie shows you, for
That's the
example.
movie shows you,
Because when somebody has a straight line, means the heart is not, there's no any activities. You need to give adrenaline, you need
Yeah.
to do CPR. You only shock when there is some activity, but it's not normal activity, which is, we don't want to go into details. So like that's like the most obvious one, for example.
Yeah.
There are something that you can learn, but I'm not a good person
To teach you that.
to watch with, for example.
Of course, because you're obviously going to call the people out. If you're a man or woman and you now decide that you've had your children and you don't want to have any children anymore, like, do you know the procedure in that? And what are the
For a
options?
woman, they have a tubal ligation.
Yeah.
When it's a very small procedure, they just tie your tubes and like cut it.
Yeah.
And for men, is a vasectomy, which is also another quick procedure.
But I heard there's a lot of blood everywhere. Someone told me they went for a vasectomy and there was blood everywhere.
I don't think that was well. When you do operate, you can always cut the wrong by mistake or
Yeah.
some.
By mistake. Do people do that by mistake?
No, I mean like when you're cutting, you can cut a small artery that can bleed.
Oh yes,
That's
yes,
what I'm
yes.
saying. You know, because you don't know like
Yeah,
you're not,
of course.
arteries can
Confusing.
go different ways. So that's the only thing that can, because I've done cesarean sections and once in a while there's like something that goes wrong and you need to control it, for example. It happens in all surgeries. So I don't think these procedures are very bloody because they are like you do them and you go home like.
Oh, I see. Then afterwards, how long do you have to abstain from sex after that? Like after your vasectomy, you're not entirely sure.
In vasectomy, I'm not sure, but in tubal ligation, I think, yeah, once the tubes are tight, then
You can just go back into action.
you can go back to action. Yeah.
Straight.
Well, maybe not straight. You need to recover still.
Yeah. Maybe.
But yeah, talking about, I want to mention something.
Yeah.
The morning after pill.
Yes.
This is some people believe that if you take morning after pill, then you're 100%.
Yeah.
The problem is that morning after pill works by preventing your ovulation.
Yes.
Means that the eggs are not going to be released and whatever. But once you have ovulated, the morning after pill not going to work.
But so what's the gap between having sex
think
and
it's
your
like-
next ovulation?
10 days after your period is when you ovulating, like
Yes.
10, 14 days. That's so once you have ovulated. But because everybody's period is different durations, I think most girls, girls should have the period app where it tells you when you're ovulating, for example. So if you already ovulated, morning after pill not going to work.
Yeah.
Morning after pill also not going to work if you are above certain BMI. So if you're obese,
Yeah.
morning after pill efficacy going to be very low.
Yeah.
If you take it, it's within 72 hours. The earlier you take it, the better. If you take it more later, then the efficacy also kind of like slightly drops. So like these things that I feel like South Africa has 90,000 teenage pregnancies
Wow.
in the country. And I think the main reason is lack of sex education. I mean, morning after pill is something fancy, but the fact that, do you know what's the pull-out method?
Yeah. I mean, people might think I don't know, but I actually do.
So pull-out method basically means you don't ejaculate inside, you do
Yeah.
it outside. It's like 70 something percent effective.
Yeah.
So I mean, out of every 10 people that do it, 2, 3 will fall pregnant.
Yeah.
Because in the pre-cum or pre-ejaculate there is some semen, but I don't think teenagers know these things. And when they have sex, unprotected sex, and they fall pregnant, which is unplanned. So I wish sex education is not a taboo, and that people do it better on not only in schools but TV, or maybe government can join social media and stuff, because nobody's watching TV these days.
Yeah, no one
Viewers,
watches TV. The viewership is extremely low. Now, on that topic though, I also feel like a big contributing factor to teenage pregnancy is also pricing. And morning after pills could be 90 rand. It's about between 90 to 100 rand, like 90 to 200 rand for the standard one. Now, I feel like people in the townships, for us, that might be like a decent, not that expensive if you're trying to obviously not have an unplanned pregnancy. But I feel like for people in the township, that might be too costly for them. And that then leads them to just say, okay, it is what it is.
No, it's free in primary healthcare.
Oh, it's free.
Clinic's free. I mean, you can get contraception for free.
Yeah.
You can get PEP and PEP. You know what is PEP? So if you have sex with someone random,
Yeah.
and you don't know their HIV status, and the condom breaks or it was unprotected, then you need, for you to prevent yourself from getting HIV, you go on PEP, which is post-exposure prophylaxis, where you can go to a clinic, say, I had sex last night, and also it's 72 hours, the earlier the better. I had sex last night, the condom broke, I don't know the girl or the guy if he was positive or not.
Yeah.
So they give you for free.
Wow.
They give you...
There's prevention for that. And do you feel like the lack of sex education is also the reason why the HIV percentages are higher here in South Africa than in most parts of the world?
I think that definitely, because there was a research that came just like, I think last month, sex education at a younger age will make you have sex at a later age and also have safer sex practices.
Yeah.
People with HIV. So I'm advocating for not for HIV, for like the ending the stigma and everything. HIV people can live these days normal. They have a normal life expectancy.
Yeah.
Just take your tablet. But the only problem starts when you're not taking your tablets. And also people also, like, doesn't mean if you have HIV you must be sick, because I can have HIV and have normal life completely normal for like 10 years before symptoms develop. So that's why I always advocate for safe sex. And I made a post on my threads. I said, you must choose your hard, because you can be poor. Being poor is hard, and getting rich is also hard. So you must choose your hard. Safe sex is hard. Also having STI, HIV, unplanned pregnancy is also hard. So you must just choose your hard. So there are condoms, there are contraception, and everything is free on them in primary healthcare. Yeah.
But is it easily accessible as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just go to the clinic and ask for this and they'll give it to you. You don't have to wait in those long lines.
So most clinics, they have a youth-friendly services, AYFS, which means if you are youth, school kids, whatever, they can go and they can get preference over others. So they can be helped and leave the clinic faster.
Oh, interesting. Okay, perfect. Now you guys know unplanned pregnancy, HIV, if you're having one-night stands, if you're going to Mavericks also. You know those guys that go to Mavericks. You been to Mavericks before?
No.
Oh, never been to Mavericks. But those guys, they go for unplanned stuff. Like there's measures in place that will protect you. There was one last question I wanted to ask. The one last question I want to ask you is just about HIV and AIDS.
Sure.
So there's this, it's a conspiracy theory though. At the same time, people believe that certain people who are powerful in the world are given the cure for AIDS, but the poor people are left to suffer. And all these I'm sure you've heard this conspiracy theory.
I've heard of it.
Like Kanye West has this bar that says if Magic Johnson got the cure for AIDS, then all the broke people passed away. You're telling me if my grandma was in the NBA right now, she'll be okay. So I like to reference lyrics.
Yeah.
But what light could you shed on that? Do you believe that it's true, or do you think it's just conspiracy theories?
So it is obviously a conspiracy theory. I'm not sure about Magic Johnson, if he had access to drugs. I'm not sure what drugs even were existent back then, what
Yeah.
type. But these days, if you have HIV and you take the normal tablets that you can get it for free at the clinic, you can have normal life. You can live up to 100 years,
Yeah.
no problems. And people with HIV, I mean, this is a personal opinion, and I'm sure doctors will also agree. HIV is much easier to manage than any other condition. Diabetes, you have to get at some point insulins, check your feet, do this, diet, exercise. HIV is only one tablet.
Yeah.
Take it every day. You can have live completely normal. And there's conspiracy theories about HIV, who gave it to Africans,
Yeah.
what COVID from China, all these things that I don't think really, I don't really entertain these conspiracy theories unless there is a peer-reviewed scientific research
Yeah.
that proves it.
Okay. Perfect. Well, guys, this has been Dr. Sia. Thank you so much for joining us, brother. Any last words from your side? People should follow you on what socials?
So on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, it's Dr. DOCTOR.Sia.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, guys, take care. Love.
Thank you.